everyone, it's Tiffany. I am so excited to do this video because I'm going to talk about one of my most favorite things to do with makeup, and that is makeup brushes. To me, I think that makeup brushes have all the difference in the world in how your makeup looks. I think that you could use any kind of makeup on the planet, and even if it's not the best, and use a good brush and it'll look amazing. So I'm going to talk all about eye brushes and face brushes, and since I have a lot to say, I'm going to split up into two videos. So this video is going to be all about eyes, and then the next video is going to be all about face brushes. And when I get the face one posted, it's going to be in a video response to this one, so check it out down there. And I hope that this helps out some of you who may be just starting a brush collection, or maybe, you know, you're building the one that you have and you're not quite sure what to use certain brushes for. You're having difficulty with certain things that you're doing and you don't know why. Maybe it's the brush. Maybe you need a brush that's different. So I'm just going to talk about some of my must-have brushes, how you use them, different ways to use them, so that maybe if you're kind of hesitant about spending a lot of money, my glasses are glaring. Alright, now I have little marks, but if you're hesitant about spending, a lot of money, maybe it'll help you out because, you know, I think that you have to take some different things into consideration because, yes, MAC brushes are pricey. That's going to be the majority of what I talk about just because they're my favorite. I think that they're amazing quality. I've had some of mine for years and they still look brand new, like the day I bought them. And I've washed them a million times. So, you know, I think that's definitely something to take into consideration. I've definitely got my money's worth in those. To me, I would rather spend $30 on a brush that I know is going to work amazing and that's going to last a long time, rather than to get a deal on a brush that I'm just going to have to replace in a year. Or that's, you know, it's not going to satisfy me with how it's applying makeup. So, you know, that being said, I think that, you know, if you're going to decide whether you're going to spend a lot or maybe get, you know, a brush that's similar in a cheaper, you know, for a cheaper price, you know, you have to consider, you know, what the brush does. Is it something that you're going to be using often? Also, I think that when you're building a brush collection, it's important not to get overwhelmed, because I know that when I didn't have very many MAC brushes, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be poor trying to get these brushes and I'm never going to be able to get them all. I don't have all of them. I have the ones that I want and that I use. I don't get them just because I'm getting MAC brushes. So I think that you really have to take into consideration what you're going to use the brush for. Also, take into consideration how unique the brush is. That's something else I love about MAC. Some of their brushes are very unique. And, you know, can you find it somewhere else? Can you find it made out of the similar, you know, a similar material? It's just all things like that that you have to think about. And, you know, you really have to think about what the brush does. If you have small eyes, you're not going to buy a huge crease brush. You know, if you never use cream liner, then don't buy an angled brush. You know, just think about it. Like, don't spend a lot on something that you're not going to use very often. And what I did is just every time I would go to the mall, every time I had some spare money, I would order a brush, or I would, you know, go to the MAC store and pick one up. You know, just, you know, you're at the mall, you're going to spend money anyways, and I just set aside, you know, that amount that I wanted, and I'd plan which brush I was going to get. I'm not going to just go in there and, you know, grab one. So, you know, it's something to think about. And that being said, you know, you have to think of brushes as an investment. So, especially if you're a makeup artist and you're going to use them a lot on clients and yourself, and, you know, you definitely want to get something that's going to stand the test of time. And there are also there's a lot of cheaper brands out there. CoastalScents.com has some amazing brushes for very, very cheap. A lot of their eye brushes are under $5, so hello, you know. Also, you can find some good ones at the craft store. So, you know, it's just all about comparing and, you know, just use your own judgment and figure out which ones you need, which ones you don't need, what you want to spend on, what you want to save on. Also, my biggest suggestion is to take advantage of the MAC holiday sets. You get, I think, like 5 brushes in a set. There's 3 different combinations, I think, of brushes that you can get between face brushes and eye brushes, and it's an amazing deal. So definitely check those out. I know that they're on the website right now, and you can still find them at counters and in stores. Okay, so I have talked entirely too long, so let's actually get this going and talk about brushes, the actual brushes. Alright, so first I'm going to talk about brushes that I use to place color. Now, my biggest suggestion, when you're placing color, get a flat brush. My all-time favorite MAC brush, and this was probably one of the first ones that I purchased. Since then I've bought quite a few more because I love these brushes. The MAC 239 brush. It's small, it's cool. I don't know what to say about it, it's just really neat. It's a very simple looking brush, but it does so much. That's something else to think about if you're going to spend a lot on a brush. This is a brush that does many, many things. It places color. You can turn it sideways like I do and use it in the crease. You can kind of get it right here and kind of go like that and create your crease shape. And it's very pointed on the end, so you can kind of like get color in it and go right up under your lash line and against your upper lash line to do some liner with eyeshadows. This is a must-have. This is my favorite. If you're starting your eye brush collection, this would be the first purchase that I would make. Right, next, if you're applying color to the lid, over the whole lid or over, the whole area, it's good to get a bigger brush because it's going to take a while with this one. This one's good if you're using multiple colors on the lid, but this is the Sonia Kashuk large flat brush. This is similar to the MAC 252. It might be just a little bit softer than the 252 though. This one's amazing because it applies color over really large areas. So it also works for brow highlight really well. I use this brush all the time. I don't even know if I'm going to ever buy the MAC one because this one's made really well and it's holding up really well. So, but I'll probably get that 252 eventually. I can never tell. Next, the 242. This one is another favorite of mine. Now, if you're just starting out, you may not need the 239 and the 242 because, they do the same thing. But if you're like me and you're used to working with brushes, they are very different. To me, I see a big difference. But someone starting out, you just really only need one or the other. Now, either one of these can apply loose or pressed shadows really well. But I prefer the 242 for pigments and loose shadows just because I think I get less fallout. I don't know why. This one is stiffer. This one's a little softer. This also works well if you're going to foil pigments or if you're going to apply any color, any loose eyeshadow wet. This works really well because I feel like you have more control because it is stiffer. Alright, next I'm going to talk about crease brushes. Now, my favorite crease brush is the MAC 217. This one, you can tell I used it today, so it's kind of dirty. This one is amazing. I would say that these would be the first two eyeshadow brushes I would pick up by MAC. The 239 and the 217. It looks like a big brush, and I don't normally like large crease brushes, but this one's stiff, but it's also big enough to where it blends, and it doesn't apply such a harsh line of color, but it puts down a lot of color, if that makes sense. This is also a very multitasking brush because you can use this to apply paint pots or to spread paints, like for eyeshadow bases. Amazing with paint pots. I used to think that the only brush that you could use for a paint pot or for applying any kind of cream base was a synthetic flat brush until I used this. This puts down more color. You'd actually think it'd be the opposite, and it blends really well. I would never go back to using a synthetic brush. I know that sounds so corny, but I just really love this brush. Another type of crease brush is like a short, dense one. This one's from Coastal Scents. This one really applies more precise colors. So what I'll do is, if I'm ever going to do like a medium toned brown or medium toned any color in the crease, I'll use the 217. And then I might take like black or a dark gray or something else to really intensify that color. And then go in with this one right on the outer fourth or whatever of the crease, just because this one is so precise and it puts down a lot of color. Another crease brush that works really well is the MAC 222. It looks like, I don't actually have one, I just ordered one, so I'm really excited about getting that. It has the same goat hair, like white bristles as this, and it reminds me of the 222, or the 224, but a little stiffer, not quite as fluffy. Okay, now the 224 for crease. If I'm going to do a really natural look and it's just going to be a really sheer wash of color, I'll use this for the crease. However, it's not my favorite crease brush just because it's very large And I have large eyes, so you can definitely work with it, but I think that if you're going, it only works really if you're going to apply like a medium tone brown and it really like, you know, looks natural. But if you're going to do like a color or something, this is just going to spread it out way too far. It's not going to put down enough color. I prefer this brush to blend out crease colors, and whenever I use that soft brown trick, you know, when I apply it right here, just to kind of blend whatever I used on the crease into the brow bone, that's what I like to use this for. Now this is also a very multitasking brush, because if you use any kind of liquid concealer, like the Select Moisture Cover or Select Cover Up, or even if you use like a brightening powder like I use with the powder flage under my eyes, this brush is amazing to use. You just dip it in whatever you're doing. If you're doing powder, you dip it in the powder and kind of just swirl it. If you're using a liquid, you just tap it on and swirl it out. Another brush I like to use for blending is the 227. This one is huge. It's freaking huge. I mean, look at it compared to this is the 224. It's very stiff. So if you have a really harsh color like on your outer crease, you can really get in there and blend it out well. Since it's so large, I also like to use it on the brow bone for brow highlight. And I've also been really determined to use this somewhere on my face because it's such a huge brush. And I tried to use it for concealer once, and it's just too spiky. It's just, I don't know. But I really, really like this brush. I really like it a lot, but it's definitely not a must-have. As for these more angled brushes, like the 272 and the 275, this one's a special edition one that was in one of those holiday sets, that's why it's black. This one I don't like at all. I've tried many times to use it, and I just think other brushes work better. So, I don't know. Use your own judgment. Some people love this. You know, you could take it into the crease like that with the point in the crease. But I really prefer the 272 if you're going to buy one of those. I like to, again, put the point in the crease and sweep the crease color inward. I also like to put color, like a dark shade, right on the tip of it and kind of take it into this outer edge of my eye. To kind of make an outer V shape, you can use this brush. Oh, speaking of the crease, I am so excited because MAC is coming out in January in the brunette, blonde, redhead collection, a new crease brush. I'm so excited. It's going to look like the 224, except it's going to be smaller and have kind of like this, but I think it's going to be a little softer. Whoa. So I think that's going to be really awesome. I am so excited about that. They're also coming out with a brush that looks kind of like this. This is one of those little smudgy brushes from Sephora. This is great to use under the eye to smudge any kind of color. You can use it on the lid to smudge out any kind of liner, anything like that. Another brush that's really good to use around the lash line is the 219. It's just one of those small little pencil brushes. It's kind of sharp, and it's good to use right underneath those lashes or right against the lash line to apply some color for definition. Now, where these little angled brushes are concerned, my favorite by MAC is the 208. I don't like this for applying cream liner. I like it to use for filling in eyebrows and for using that little eyeliner trick like I did in my eyeliner video. I think it's like one of my first videos where I put the powder or the eyeshadow over the eyeliner. That's what I like to use this for. When it comes to actual cream liners, I like to use the Coastal Scents Tack-On Liner Brush. This one is like $1.85 or $95. I mean, ridiculous. It works wonderfully. I think that with these kind of brushes, it provides more control with cream liner. So I think that's it. This is probably going to be a ridiculously long video. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Definitely check out my All About Face Brushes video that's going to come up next. It may not be posted right away, but I'm going to work on posting them. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.